What's up, everybody? This is Nail98 here.
What's up, everyone? It's ICanSnake.
Greetings, everyone. This is CC Trainor-Ling.
What's going on, guys? It's James the Con Man, and I've been everywhere, man. I've been everywhere.
So without further ado, everyone, let's jump right into the plot for the Season 2 finale. So in this two-parter, Blythe is majorly stressing out about the upcoming International Pet Fashion Expo, and her concerns increase dramatically when she's asked to do a photo shoot for top fashion magazine, Très Blasé. Meanwhile, the Biscuits try to sabotage Blythe's plans, making her think her nightmares about everything going wrong might actually be coming true.
Alright, my first positive would definitely have to be the characters from this episode, and I have to say my first one of the characters have to be Blythe. Obviously, the show is about her, and this was a really good episode and gave her a lot of character development for the most part. That, yes, well, a lot of people have been saying before this episode that she seems like this perfect girl that has, like, no flaws. Yet this is one of those episodes that goes to show that she has flaws and she has fears of things. That she wants to do well, that she knows she can do well with this. It's just that she doesn't have the, trying to think of the word. And in short, she's afraid of messing up and not doing as great and then getting a bad name in fashion.
Mm-hmm. I could really agree with that.
Yeah, I mean, this goes all the way back so you Skinky can dance, because, hey, we thought up until that time she had no flaws, but hey, she had flaws in that episode, but she's gotten over them. And even here, she's gotten over her fears, thinking that things will go wrong for her.
Yeah, I can really relate to her situation because more often than not, I play shows. I do perform every week. And so, there's a feeling where it's like you feel like you're going to mess up and then you mess up because you continuously think that you're going to mess up. But then if you realize that, yes, you might mess up, but you don't focus on it that much, you'll actually do better than you think.
Mm-hmm.
Which is what happens.
That's my biggest problem, too. Especially if I'm recording something. I have that fear of, you're going to mess up and everything. And then if you think and focus too hard on it, you are going to mess up.
Yeah. That's the same thing with me with recording.
Another one of the characters I'd like to mention is actually the guest pet for this episode, Delilah. She was really great. Her British accent makes her character so much better, and she's so aloof and flirtatious with Sunil. And I also like how Sunil is shown to have a major crush on Delilah. He's the first guy out of the main pets that I can remember to be shown having a crush. So it just goes to show that not only does the female pets in the main cast get to have crushes, but the male pets can too.
Hey, we all have feelings too.
Yeah.
I really love how she just has to pretty much explain about the upcoming fantasy sequence for the first song.
It's like breaking the fourth wall.
Yeah, I mean, like, she breaks the fourth wall, but she really gets into detail about it. It's like, wow. I love it.
I wish she had that stereotypical thing where she has to describe every little detail, and then they don't know what she's talking about or what she's saying because of the accent.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Another positive I have would definitely have to be Mrs. Twombly. Her sacrificing her personal prize doorknob just to save Blythe, that is some serious commitment to not only Blythe, but also to her business.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we've all seen how obsessed she is with those doorknobs when she goes Gollum Twombly on it, but... but just seeing her, she actually will give up her precious just to save her business. So she puts aside her obsessions for what's really important. So, I love that.
Another thing I wanted to mention is the butler.
Oh, yeah. Francois, I think, was probably, like, the best, secondary character, or maybe, like, the most underappreciated character of that episode up until the very end.
And I'm pretty sure everyone else was thinking the same thing when they found out it was the butler. What a twist.
Well, I think it was only a twist because you just wouldn't expect him to pretty much rat out the Biscuits on this. Usually he's just shown to be the one guy who'll just, go along with it or whatever, and yeah, he did, but hey, he did admit what he was doing was wrong, and hey, it just shows that he's not always going to listen to a bunch of teenage girls, even though they are technically the co-bosses of him.
Another two characters I'd like to mention are the relationship between Russell and Zoe in this episode. At first, Zoe wasn't okay with Russell being chosen to be modeled, so she got mad at him and tried to talk him out of it, because I guess she was jealous of him, I guess. But as the episode went on, and as Pepper and Penny talked to her about it, she started lightening up and started accepting the facts and motivated Russell into doing the modeling and doing it best. It just goes to show that while Zoe is a diva and a fashionista, she can also care for her friends a lot when she's really needed for it, and she could support them. But she still needs to control her selfishness, or at least keep it in check.
Absolutely.
One of the other positives that I have listed, and me being a musician, I have to mention these. I have to mention All Around the World from part 1, and won't have to look too far from the second part. The first one was more like a hobby kind of song, and it was like a dance kind of song. It's really good. I love how they show all the different nationalities and different accents and everything. And the second song, definitely the best of the two. There's a nice feel. Vocals were pretty good. Everything about the second song was just really good. Definitely one of my favorite from Daniel Ingram.
Absolutely.
Anyone want to touch up on him?
I'll start off on the first song. Just like anyone else, I love All Around the World. The guest pet for this episode gets her own song, and it sounds really amazing. And for me, All Around the World is just a little bit better than You Won't Have to Look Too Far, and All Around the World is in my top 5 songs. I remember when these episodes leaked from the British leak, I watched them before it premiered in the States. So I listened to this song ahead of time, and my favorite part in the song was when they go Brazilian, Pavilion, because it works so well together and it rhymes.
Yeah, but we have to remember that had a higher pitch in the sound.
Yeah.
And I think it was just slightly faster than the regular one that we're viewing now.
Oh, yeah.
See the difference between the UK version of the song and the US version and Canada version of the song. And if you listen really closely, you can hear the speed difference and the pitch difference.
Yeah. And so for the second song, it just barely missed my top 5 songs. Like, All Around the World is listed as number 4, but You Won't Have to Look Too Far is listed as number 6. But there's no doubt this is still a beautiful song. It's a really feelsy song, as well as very inspirational and motivational. It's basically saying that you won't be alone as long as you have your friends by your side to go through the journey with you, so you could do what you want, what you like, and how you want it.
I felt as if the song just kind of recapped like the first 2 seasons because of like all of the montage clips, and those lyrics really matched all those images perfectly.
Yeah.
Just really amazing singing. Just too bad Russell didn't, get his own little solo part, but yeah, freaking out. Yeah, I don't think anyone's talked about Russell yet. I really loved how he was coming out of his shell in this episode and like moving on from his fear of being in front of the camera to finally getting the photogenic skills that he really needed, and just, hey, it paid off. Well, to be fair, he wasn't really like the main character in this 2-parter. It was mainly just, Blythe and her thing. The pets were just there to help her out.
And I guess now we can go to the negatives. For negatives, I have to mention the biscuits. I just don't think the biscuits were really needed here in this episode. More of an interpersonal conflict that Blythe had about her fears. And I feel like if they would have focused more on that, I think it would have gone a lot better for me. But the biscuits kind of were just there just to mess stuff up. It's like, no, it doesn't work.
Well,
it just didn't work for me.
Well, the thing is, they weren't messing up Blythe's stuff just because they didn't like her. It was because they didn't want Blythe to get this recognition, because that means they'd be putting Littlest Pet Shop on the front cover of Très Blasé, the most popular fashion magazine ever. So that means it would be publicity for Littlest Pet Shop, which would take business away from Largest Ever Pet Shop. So really, the biscuits were trying to sabotage Blythe just to save their business.
Yeah.
Yeah, so really, when you boil it all down, the biscuits had a purpose to take out Blythe's kiosk and like to ruin the trailer hitch and all things like that.
Yeah.
One of my negatives would have to be the constant pulling Russell's name out of the hat. I understand that it's always likely that you'll pull the same name out of the hat no matter how many times you rustle up the names, but just doing it 10 times over, I understand that there's a joke in there, but rule of 3 for me on that one. And my other negative would have to be the supposed bamboo trail that just happened to show up. Because if you'll notice, the biscuits are pushing the kiosk. You don't see the bamboo falling out, even when you do see the bottom of the kiosk moving. And I understand that Penny was eating the bamboo inside of the kiosk, but she was on the other side of the door when she was eating it. So unless they forgot to animate the bamboo in, or there was a small slit on the inside of the kiosk that would have the bamboo fall out. I don't understand where the mysterious bamboo trails just suddenly showed up. And I guess in the interest of also being fair, the bamboo trail didn't really serve that much of a purpose because it just ended somewhere in the middle of the convention center. And honestly, it didn't matter because Vinny just got on the intercom and told Blythe where to go anyway. So yeah.
Yeah.
So maybe it's irrelevant. Maybe it's not. I don't know. That's just me.
Oh, in my opinion, overall, this was a great episode. Delilah was in it. And it was a fantastic episode. I wish I could watch it again. Oh wait, I will on Netflix. So I will give it a 9.5 out of 10.
For me, this was a really great finale and a very great end to the season. It ties together so many episodes in the season dealing with the Fashion Expo arc, and it ends on a very successful high note. It also has many smaller defining moments that we didn't talk about, such as in the beginning when Jasper said, "Want a watermelon?" and when Emma said, "I wish I could be a dog." This finale was very solid, very perfect pacing, and it doesn't really leave anything unanswered. So I'll give it a 10 out of 10.
As we conclude both Season 2 and the All Around the World arc, I would just like to say that this episode was amazing. It had great build-up leading to the finale, and its payoff was worth the wait. This was the episode where Blythe finally gets major recognition for her fashion designs and gets her image on the cover of the most popular magazine for fashion, Très Blasé, and she's only a teenager. This episode has really perpetuated Blythe's goals to making it to the top, and she has her family, friends, and most of all the pets to thank for all of this. Speaking of which, all of the pets in this episode were great. Delilah was a very interesting guest pet, especially when she had to explain the fantasy sequence to the first song, and the flirtation between her and Sunil was just adorable. As for the other pets, I'm glad Zoe was supportive in helping Russell get over his awkwardness of getting his picture taken. It really goes to show Zoe is willing to put her photo-savvy needs to the side to help her friends. Russell was also a good character when it came to development, as he too was willing to help Blythe with the photo op in spite of his awkward shyness. Even Mrs. Twombly sacrificing one of her prized doorknobs to get Blythe's kiosk to the Expo was very commendable. But perhaps the most commendable character in this episode, mostly in the second part, is Francois. Now for a long time we've been led to believe he's just a butler who's paid to do whatever the biscuits tell him to do, and yes, he did do exactly what he was told to do by trying to sabotage Blythe's photo op. But in the end, he owned up to what he did, and hey, he showed that he has some pretty good camera skills. It's just too bad Mona didn't hire him to be one of her photographers. Oh well. And finally, the two songs, All Around the World and Won't Have to Look Too Far, were just the added bonuses that made everything amazing and wonderful, with their catchy rhythms and superb lyrics. I only have two negatives, but they don't take anything away from the entire story. The first one is how the pets kept picking Russell's name out of the hat. Now, I understand the chances of picking the same name is always a fair probability, but I just couldn't get behind it after they had every single pet pull from the hat. 3 times was enough to make the point, but 10 times was a few times too many, even if they did make it very comical. The other negative I have is the trail of bamboo. I know Penny was seen eating bamboo inside the kiosk, but she was nowhere near the door, so the idea of bamboo falling from a closed door sounds very unlikely, unless the bamboo just happened to exit through a small gap on her side of the kiosk, in which case I definitely understand what they were going for here, although there was no bamboo seen as the biscuits were pushing the kiosk. Maybe it was an animation error? I'm not entirely sure, so really the whole mystery of the bamboo trail is just up in the air. And if you think about it, the bamboo trail didn't really lead to anything. Literally. It ended in some random spot in the convention center, but then Vinny got on the intercom to tell Blythe where the stolen kiosk was. So really, if Blythe hadn't have noticed the bamboo and just listened to Vinny over the intercom, she would have found her kiosk no matter what. But like I said, my negatives don't completely ruin the episode. There's just little minor nitpicks I just happened to pick up on. In the end, I love this episode so much, and it's always going to be one of my all-time favorite episodes. I'm going to give it a 9.5 out of 10.
Alright, I'm gonna keep this one short and sweet as I often do. This was a great ending to both the season and to the All Around the World. Because originally, whenever I was watching the season, I was like, okay, why are they going to all these random places? And then it all led up to episodes, and I was like, it all makes sense now. But like I said, it was a perfect way to tie things up. And, if this wasn't getting another season, like at the time, if it wasn't getting another season, it would have made for a pretty decent ending overall. But as we all know, this is not the end. The songs were good. Normally I have 1 or 2 complaints about them. But here, I really can't nitpick too much other than dance music isn't really isn't really my thing. But it was still well done for the style. And the other song was just beautiful. Like, that one is totally pick it or litter, so to speak. But overall, I gotta give it a 9.5 out of 10. Brilliant episode.
Next week we're doing season 1, so let's see what the randomizer gives us.
Bring on the randomizer!
This is one of my favorites.
What did you say?
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 What
That's
did
the
you
episode.
say?
I know. I'm saying, what did you say?
What did you say?
We'll be reviewing What Did She Say next week. So this is 1998.
ICanSnake.
CC Trainor-Ling.
James DeCon.
And this is the League of Petshoppers signing off.
Peace out, home slices.
Rock on, everyone.
See you later.
Hello everybody, Dallas Bacon here. I don't know if you can hear me over the music, but I'm having a great time here at the Pet Expo. I don't know what I'm missing, but this is exciting as heck. Not a bad word. Anyway, I should probably music. Oh, wait, no, it's back. I should probably find a place to go so I can do this review for you guys. Well, let me try to find a clear location. Better. Hopefully, now that the music's kind of gone, well, I got now my other music. Hopefully, I can give you this review in a short amount of time because there's 2 episodes to do, and I gotta wrap up this really fast because I got a lot to say. You can hear this statement all around the world. It comes to a surprise to no one that I love this episode. The Expo Factor 1 and 2 are a great season finale and a great way to conclude the all around the world arc. And let us begin with our guest pet, who comes out in both parts, Delilah, who by the looks of it is based off an actress named Rebel Wilson. I might be saying that incorrectly, but anyway. Something else that Delilah brought with her is a song, which is probably my favorite song of season 2 and of the entire series all around the world. The song, UK version, is awesome to listen to. I remember hearing that song for about 6 hours, repeating that same part over and over and over again because the song was that good. Mad props to you, Daniel Ingram. And you gotta admit, the pets look pretty awesome in those other attires in the fantasy. It was great. The lead up to it, everything, visuals was great. This was an amazing song, just an amazing piece of art. And I do like the little love relationship that she has with Sunil and how she helped out in the second part. And of course, speaking of helping out, another character who needs some recognition is Mrs. Twomley, which I'm pretty sure someone else acknowledged her earlier. How I know this? I just know. And of course, where would I be without talking about the score of the episode, the Biscuit Twins, who apparently aren't needed according to someone, lol. Yeah, actually, the Biscuits are needed. It's not enough that we can have Blythe carry this episode just by herself by being her own obstacle. You see, because in a way it could work, but she's actually overcoming everything. Her friends are saying, don't worry, Blythe, everything's gonna be fine. And she responds more or less, yes, it is gonna be. Her only thing is her self-doubt. Add the Biscuits to the mix, and you're gonna get a lot of problems for Blythe, which again will have the pets, her family, and her friends, and maybe Jasper help her to overcome it.
Also, I don't know if anyone noticed this, but the Biscuits slashed the tires. That's pretty crazy. But hey, whatever to keep Daddy happy.
And an interesting note, actually, 2 of them, is that this episode is the episode that Young Me pitches the idea that Blythe should make clothes for people, which was referenced later in Why Can't We Be Friends? And second interesting note, this is the last time we see Emma. Tear right in my eyes. Anyway, but the pets were really great also. Then again, Littlest Pet Shop and the pets aren't great? That's impossible. The pets were pretty awesome in this episode too. Except for some might argue about the bamboo trail, but honestly, that's just silly. We don't know the kiosk's entire structure, so there's ways that can get out. Or maybe if Pennyling was in one place, maybe the pets had an idea, the other 3 girls, that, okay, Pennyling's eating bamboo, we can just get whatever pieces and throw them out. That way they have a little trail. It's not completely pointless, there is a point to it. It's to basically indicate that where they are at, and to show that the Biscuits are moving them, something else, and that the situation is serious and it shows where they're at. That's how they get the idea that they're at the closet. If it wasn't for that trail, I'm pretty sure they wouldn't have found them in that closet. Or not as quickly. And something that the pets brought to the table is another song. A great one, by the way. Don't have to look too far. I don't know if that's the title or not, but I'm sticking to what I'm calling it. Anyway, so that song is very, very nice. It's a very good song to listen to. Not in my top 20, but still a great song. Let's not forget Francois' moment of awesome. However, I do have one negative, actually, and it's a big one, though. The whole incident with Russell. I don't like this part. I don't like it at all. See, the problem that I have is that they make it seem as if Russell is the only one who can do this, since his name got chosen from the hat. Which, of course, the joke did not follow Rule of 3. Now, the one thing I don't like is that they make this, what that was originally voluntary, into something that is now mandatory. Russell does not want to do this. He is not the kind of guy that wants to be in front of the camera. And that's fine. The show can respect that. But you see, everyone makes it sound as if Russell has to be the one. Which is funny because anyone else would have been just as good of a candidate to get this character development. Could have been Vinny, it could have been Sunil, it could have been Minka, it could have been Pepper, it could have been, or heck, you could have given it to Zoe, the obvious choice, but seeing how they wanted to, I guess, add this to Russell's character, I guess, only to reference it once, and that's it. I don't know, I'm not a huge fan of it at all. I mean, oh, turns out he liked it at the end. Turns out the other pets would have also, so it doesn't really matter. It could have worked with any other pet. I don't know what makes Russell so special. Well, at least we got to see Zoe show Russell Russell how to do Magnum, or was it Blue Steel, or was it Ferrari? Ekans, can you put a picture of Zoe doing that pose, and then put Ferrari or La Tigra or Magnum just right on the side here, just side by side? Thank you, Ekans. Something that I would love to ask you, the audience, is how would you favor if the episode was not about Russell? If it was about either Minka, Vinny, Penny-Ling, Tennille, or Pepper? How would this episode work? Would it be just this good, or would it bother you? I don't know, since we don't see that route, but maybe in an alternate universe this will happen. But just wanted to hear your thoughts on what you think of that idea. But other than that, I love this episode. This episode is an awesome episode. However, this negative does carry to both parts, so both of these episodes will not be getting a 10 out of 10. Everyone else in this episode is awesome. Everything else about this episode is amazing. The songs are awesome. The characters just get a huge amount of love and respect from them. I have to give this episode a 9.9 out of 10. I know the dilemma and the whole situation with Russell bothers me, but the positives are so good that they make this negative smaller, which is weird. But that's just how I am. You know how it is, guys, with the DB. And with this wrapping up season 2, and possibly wrapping up the series, I believe at the time they didn't know that they were going to get a season 3, or maybe they did, but we didn't know, especially. So it would have been a nice ending to the series if Blythe matured and got to be a better character. But now the next episode we will be reviewing is a season 1 episode, and I hope to know what it is once someone tells me what it is. Just don't know what they say. So until someone eventually tells me what it is, I guess it's time to slow down and sign off. So I'll be seeing you in the next episode. So thanks, and thanks again.